From the highest weight programs to the awareness that was never a child. There is a moment from childhood you have never quite left. You may not be able to name it precisely, a quality of experience, of being too small, or not enough, or too much, or invisible, or terrifyingly visible. A specific way the world felt before you had language adequate to describe it, a somatic knowing that arrived early and stayed. You are an adult now. Decades have passed. You have knowledge and resources and perspective that the child did not have. The body still knows that moment, still runs the response it learned in that moment. Still, under the right conditions, in the right rooms, makes the same moves. The brain assigns synaptic weight based on emotional intensity and developmental timing. Early experiences, especially emotionally charged early experiences, receive higher synaptic weight than later experiences of equivalent intensity. This is not a bug. This is the nervous system prioritizing the lessons learned when the organism was most vulnerable and most dependent on its environment for survival. The result, the experiences from your first 5 years have more influence on your current behavioral patterns than experiences from your last 5 years, even if the recent experiences were objectively more significant. The programs installed earliest run beneath all subsequent programs. They were installed before you had the capacity to refuse them. Refusing them now requires first finding them. They are below the level you are looking. The first architecture is the deepest architecture. The programs installed earliest run beneath all subsequent programs. You are still running the behavioral responses of a child who had no other options. The child was doing the only thing available. The adult is still doing it, because the program runs below the level where the adult's resources can reach. There is the original experience, the specific conditions of your particular childhood that produced the specific adaptations your nervous system made, real, not to be minimized. Then, the adult life shaped by the adaptations. The relationships entered because they matched the original relational template. The patterns repeated not from weakness, but from the fidelity of the nervous system to its earliest programming. The specific scenarios that keep recurring because the nervous system is trying to resolve the original unresolved event. Then, the awareness that the pattern is running. The adult who can see the child's program activating and cannot stop it from activating, can only watch it run and manage the consequences. The programmer was a child. The child was doing the best it could with what it had. The child adapted to conditions that weren't adequate. The adaptation worked. The adaptation is still working. For conditions that no longer exist. What it had was not enough. That was not the child's fault. The childhood was not the problem. The childhood was the solution to a problem the child was facing. The adult is still running the solution to a problem that no longer exists in its original form. In one frame, the adult, competent, resourced, capable. Running a child's behavioral program in a room the child never entered, toward people who are not the original people. In the other frame, the nursing home is cremation ground, the earliest programs being consumed by time, by therapy, by the slowly grinding work of rewiring. Both processes running simultaneously, the adult life and the gradual ash of the programs that organized it. Both true, both happening. Understand the programming intellectually. Useful, necessary, insufficient. The amygdala does not process the understanding. The program fires before the understanding can reach it. You can know exactly what childhood experience produced the current pattern and still run the pattern with full intensity in the room that triggers it. Work through the original wounds therapeutically. Real, slow, partially effective. The nervous system updates. The original architecture does not disappear. It becomes less dominant. The reversion still happens. It happens less often, with less intensity, for less duration. Progress is real and is not completion. Avoid the triggering rooms in people. The triggering rooms include your family, your most intimate relationships, your oldest friendships. You cannot leave all of them without leaving the architecture of your life. 3 exits, 3 sealed doors. In one frame, the adult, all the years since the 3-year-old's experience. All the competence assembled, all the knowledge acquired, all the ways you are different now from the child who learned the only available response to conditions that were not adequate. In the other frame, the cremation ground, the 12 sisters eating the first programs, eating the history of every moment the child needed something and received something else, eating the attachment patterns that organized the first decade of your life and all the decades that followed. They are already consuming it, whether you participate in the consumption or not. The nursing home and the cremation ground, the same room. The adult and the child, the same awareness. Spanda Karikas, the Spanda, the divine vibration, is uniform in its pulsing. It does not pulse more strongly in the childhood than in the adulthood. It does not carry more charge in the early experiences than the later ones. The weighting is the nervous system's weighting, not the Spanda's. The programs run in something that has never been any age. Not old. Not young. Not the child's. The awareness that was present for the original experiences, receiving them, with the child's limited interpretive capacity and maximum emotional intensity, is the same awareness present now. It did not develop with the child. It did not acquire the adaptations. It received the childhood and is receiving the adulthood. It was not a child then. It is not older now. The programs run in something that has never been any age. The child experienced everything in the eternal present of experience. The adult is experiencing this in the same eternal present. The awareness that knows the program is running is the only thing that has been here for all of it. Not as memory, as presence. Now,